What if I told you that the most successful people in history shared one secret weapon that had nothing to do with talent, luck, or connections? What if this weapon was so powerful that it could transform an ordinary person into an unstoppable force, yet so simple that most people completely overlook it? While everyone else is shouting for attention, posting every thought, and jumping from one shiny object to the next, there's a quiet revolution happening. The winners aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who've mastered something that's becoming rarer than gold in our distracted world: your focus. But here's what nobody tells you about focus. It's not just a skill you develop. It's a weapon you forge. And once you understand how to wield it, you don't just change your productivity, you change your entire destiny. Right now, while you're listening to this, there are people working in complete silence. No social media updates about their progress. No motivational posts about grinding. No audience cheering them on. They're building something extraordinary in the shadows, brick by brick, day after day. These are the invisible empire builders. They understand that real power isn't performed, it's practiced. While others are busy looking productive, they're actually being productive. While others are networking their way to mediocrity, they're engineering their way to mastery. Think about the greatest achievements in human history. The innovations that changed everything. They didn't come from committee meetings or brainstorming sessions. They came from individuals who could sit alone with a problem for hours, days, or even years until they cracked it. Einstein didn't discover relativity in a coffee shop surrounded by people. Tesla didn't invent alternating current while scrolling through his phone. Marie Curie didn't isolate radium while multitasking. They all had one thing in common: the ability to disappear into their work so completely that the outside world ceased to exist. This is what we've lost. This is what you need to reclaim. We live in an economy that profits from your distraction. Every app on your phone, every notification that buzzes, every urgent email is designed by teams of behavioral psychologists to hijack your most precious resource: your attention. They've turned your focus into a commodity that's bought and sold. Every time you pick up your phone just to check, you're making someone else rich while making yourself poor. Poor in the currency that matters most: mental clarity. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes of waking time. Each check fragments your attention, scatters your thoughts, and weakens your ability to think deeply about anything. But here's the trap that's even more dangerous. We've been conditioned to believe that being busy equals being important, that having multiple projects means we're ambitious, that responding to every message immediately makes us responsible. This is exactly backwards. The most dangerous person in any field isn't the one doing everything. It's the one doing one thing with such intensity and precision that they become unstoppable at it. While everyone else is spreading themselves thin, they're drilling deep. There's a reason why the most valuable people in any industry can command almost any price. They've developed the rare ability to produce something that can't be replicated by someone juggling 10 different tasks. This is deep work. The ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. It's becoming more valuable precisely because it's becoming more rare. While artificial intelligence gets better at handling routine tasks, the humans who can think deeply, creatively, and persistently are becoming irreplaceable. But only if they can actually access that level of thinking. Most people can't. They've trained their brains to expect interruption every few minutes. They've become addicted to the small hits of dopamine that come from notifications and social media likes. They've forgotten what it feels like to think about one thing for more than 5 minutes. But you can remember. You can retrain your brain to think deeply again. And when you do, you'll have a competitive advantage that's almost unfair. Here's what happens when you can focus deeply for extended periods. Your work doesn't just get better, it gets exponentially better. Think of focus like compound interest. The first hour of deep work might produce decent results, but the second hour builds on the first. The third hour builds on the first two. By the fourth hour, you're not just 4 times more productive, you're in a completely different league. This is because deep work allows you to hold complex ideas in your mind simultaneously. You can see connections that others miss. You can solve problems that require multiple steps of reasoning. You can create work that has depth, nuance, and originality. Shallow work, the kind most people do while distracted, can only produce shallow results. No matter how many hours you put in, if you're constantly interrupted, you'll never reach the level of insight that comes from sustained attention. Here's where most people fail. They can't handle boredom. The moment things get quiet, the moment their mind isn't stimulated, they reach for their phone. They turn on music. They find something, anything to fill the silence. But boredom is not your enemy. Boredom is the doorway to brilliance. When you're bored, your brain doesn't shut down. It starts making connections. It begins processing information in the background. It generates insights that only come when you're not forcing them. The greatest thinkers in history understood this. They took long walks. They stared out windows. They sat in silence, not because they were lazy, but because they knew that breakthrough ideas come in quiet moments, not busy ones. Today, we've eliminated boredom from our lives. Every spare moment is filled with stimulation. We listen to podcasts while walking. We check emails while waiting in line. We scroll through social media during every quiet moment. We've made ourselves addicted to distraction, and in doing so, we've cut ourselves off from our own creativity. So how do you rebuild your ability to focus in a world designed to scatter your attention? It starts with treating focus like a skill that needs deliberate practice. First, you need to create boundaries. Not just physical boundaries, but digital ones. Your phone needs to be in another room when you're doing important work. Your notifications need to be turned off. Your workspace needs to be clean and distraction-free. Second, you need to start small. If you can't focus for 5 minutes without getting distracted, don't try to focus for 2 hours. Build your attention span gradually, like you would build physical strength. Third, you need to embrace single tasking. Do one thing at a time and do it completely before moving to the next thing. This isn't just more efficient, it's the only way to do work that actually matters. Fourth, you need to schedule your focus time like you would schedule any other important appointment. Block out time on your calendar for deep work and protect that time like your life depends on it, because your success certainly does. The most productive people throughout history have understood something that modern society has forgotten. Creation requires solitude. It requires silence. It requires the willingness to be alone with your thoughts for extended periods. This doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It means being selective about when and how you engage with the world. It means having periods of complete isolation where you can think without interruption. Think of it as building a monastery in your mind, a sacred space where important work gets done, a place that's protected from the chaos and noise of the outside world. This monastery isn't just about being alone. It's about being present. It's about giving your full attention to what's in front of you. It's about treating your work with the reverence it deserves. Here's a hard truth. You can't do everything. You can't be everywhere. You can't please everyone. And trying to do so will guarantee that you accomplish nothing meaningful. The most successful people aren't successful because they say yes to everything. They're successful because they say no to almost everything. They're ruthless editors of their own lives. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. Every minute spent on something unimportant is a minute not spent on something that could change your life. Every distraction you allow is a piece of your potential that you're giving away. This requires courage. It requires the willingness to disappoint people. It requires the strength to miss out on things that might be fun, but don't serve your larger purpose. But here's what you get in return: the ability to do your best work, the opportunity to create something that matters, the chance to become who you're capable of becoming. When you master focus, you don't just get better at your work. You get better at thinking. You get better at problem solving. You get better at seeing opportunities that others miss. This compounds over time. Each day of focused work builds on the previous day. Each week of deep thinking creates insights that weren't possible the week before. Each month of sustained attention moves you further ahead of people who are still scattered and distracted. After a year of practicing deep focus, you won't just be better at what you do, you'll be in a different category entirely. You'll be producing work that surprises even you. You'll be solving problems that used to seem impossible. You'll be creating value that commands premium prices. This is the compound effect of attention. It's slow at first, then suddenly exponential. The beautiful thing about mastering focus is that most people won't notice what you're doing until it's too late. While they're busy broadcasting their activities, you're busy creating results. While they're networking their way through shallow connections, you're building deep expertise. By the time they realize what's happening, the gap will be too wide to close. You'll have developed capabilities that can't be replicated quickly. You'll have created work that can't be copied. You'll have built a reputation based on substance, not style. This is the silent victory, not announced with fanfare or celebrated on social media. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing that you've become who you were meant to become. Right now, you have a choice to make. You can continue living in the scattered, distracted way that most people live. You can keep jumping from task to task, notification to notification, never really finishing anything important. Or you can join the quiet revolution. You can reclaim your attention from the thieves who've stolen it. You can rebuild your ability to think deeply and work with sustained focus. The path isn't complicated, but it isn't easy. It requires discipline when discipline isn't fun. It requires saying no when saying yes would be easier. It requires being alone when being social would be more comfortable. But the rewards are extraordinary. Not just better work, but a better life. Not just more productivity, but more meaning. Not just more success, but more satisfaction. The world doesn't need another person who's busy. It needs someone who can focus, someone who can think deeply, someone who can create work that matters. That someone could be you. But only if you choose to make focus your superpower. Only if you decide that your attention is too valuable to waste on things that don't matter. Only if you have the courage to disappear into your work and emerge with something extraordinary. The choice is yours. What will you focus on today? If this message resonated with you, don't just consume it. Act on it. Turn off your notifications right now. Block out 2 hours tomorrow for deep work. Start building the focus that will change your life. Because the world is waiting for what you'll create when you finally give it your full attention.